Hi, I'm Allegra Ramos.
Hi, I'm Natasha Corrigan. Welcome to our webinar, Beyond Your Wildest Dreams, Harnessing the Power of Planning. We're so excited to get you on the road to prioritizing yourself, saving time, and accomplishing your goals. And we're going to start doing that today in our 20-minute webinar. We're super excited that you're here. Let's take a look at our agenda for today. We're going to talk to you about why we created this workshop, and Allegra and I will talk to you about what we were doing before this workshop and how this worked, how those materials start to get us to get to achieve our goals. Then we're going to talk about those of you who are like, but planners don't work for me. Trust me, that was me, 100%. Then also we're going to talk about our number one tip for planning. This is why you guys are here. It's a biggie and it's super duper, goal setting changing. And then we're going to talk about our course. And we also have a little thank you gift for you at the end. So we're excited to get started with you.
Yeah, we love rewards, so we'll reward you at the end.
Mm-hmm.
So, why we created this workshop? Well, I am a lifelong planner and I was a good planner, but I was an inconsistent one. And what I mean by that was there were some areas of my life where I had these huge successes and then other areas that were just kind of like, meh. And I am an ENFJ personality type, if you're familiar with Myers Briggs. And the thing about ENFJs is that we like to analyze things. So, about 5 years ago, I took a long, hard look at my life and I wanted to analyze the successes and the areas where I felt like I could use improvement. And what I figured out was that the successes were areas where I had planned. And all these other areas I'd just been approaching haphazardly. Well, guess what? I decided to approach these with that same planning philosophy. And it was like, boom, change overnight. Magic. The planning was the magic fairy dust that turned my dreams into realities. And out of that, I was just like, plannerson. I am a planner.
Plan City. Yeah, and I'm definitely different. I absolutely was a planner prior to us developing this course. But I was really, really good at like specific events. Like, you want me to throw your kid's birthday party? I can, kick its butt. Like, I want to plan a vacation? Fantastic. Producing events? Fantastic, right? I'm not an event planner by profession, but that part I got handled, right? It was a specific and contained event. Fantastic. What always got pushed to the wayside or thrown on the back burner was my specific life goals. Anything that was like long term, that was like open ended and didn't have a specific contained date or like event or something, that just kept getting pushed and back on the back burner. I'm sorry to say, for like years, right? So here I am, not really achieving the things, just continuously pushing on the back burner. And I really found that achieving life goals was a struggle for me.
So you may have said this, or maybe you heard someone say it, but I'm no good at planning. This was something that I would hear constantly. And it's actually kind of why I came up with this course, because people would say to me, like, how do you do so many different things? I'm a homeschooling mom. I have a few businesses. I'm also active in the community. And I would say planning, because that's what I had identified as my secret sauce, the thing that was making my life work. And people would say, oh, yeah, I'm no good at planning, or planners don't work for me. I heard that a lot too. But here's the thing, planning is a skill like any other, right? At one point, you didn't know how to drive. And I remember when I first started driving, learning to drive, I would come home and I would take a nap because I was so exhausted, because it's just engaging so much of the brain, right? But now, I can drive, I can talk on the phone, I can tell my kid to stop playing with the radio station, and I didn't even notice that right turn I just made, right? So at one point, I didn't know how to type, and now the words just fly across the screen with the greatest of ease. So just like you learn to drive and just like you learn to type, you can learn to plan. So let's talk a little bit about what is planning, because I feel like this is something that's not really easily understood, okay? What is planning? Planning is the process of thinking about the steps required to achieve a goal. It is the first step to achieve desired results, and it involves the creation and maintenance of a plan, right? So you don't just have to come up with the plan, you then have to maintain the plan. But I want to illustrate this word right here, first step. I just want to point that out because Planning is a process, and the first step of that process is to think. So, is this a planner?
No, no, that's not a planner. That's a book in which you write your plans. What is the planner? You are. You are the planner. So Allegra's point here is that the planning process is starts with it in your mind, thinking first, right? And then going ahead, taking those steps, execution, maintenance, super important. Now, all this sounds kind of like maybe a little bit like stuffy or not that exciting, but well, just because it sounds like, like time management or blah, blah, blah. That's not what we're talking about. We're not talking about time management or shoving more stuff on your to-do list and getting that stuff done. No, we're talking about really that first thing that she talked about, which was thinking about what it is that you're trying to achieve. And we get more into that in our course and so forth. But we don't want the word planning to scare you off into thinking like, oh, this is like a really A type personality type thing. It really is about prioritizing yourself. And again, we get more into that in our course, but we really want you to know that this is fun. It's engaging. And the thing about it is it's fun and engaging. It takes like the sweet side of the frosted mini wheat and the wheat side, right? As the fun and engaging, and then the wheat side with these action oriented steps. And Allegra's putting up a quote here from one of our students, one of the testimonials, and it really is like frosted mini wheats, right? It's fun and engaging, but then you've got to put in the steps that help you get to where you want to go. And we really want to put it in a place in a way that's not intimidating and not beyond your ability to do it. And just like Sarah says, not seem intimidating or beyond your ability to accomplish. And that was really our goal in creating this course. And we're glad Sarah had that experience. And, that's available for you too.
And I know anyone can do this because, when Natascha asked me what's my secret, originally I turned her onto a planner that I really liked, that was really
That's right.
working for me. And I had actually turned a few other people onto this planner. And then fast forward, I don't remember, 6 months, a year, whatever. And I was checking back with these people and I was finding that the planner did not work for them the way it was working for me.
Right.
And that's when I realized it's not the physical planner. It's this process, this thinking process that anyone can learn that probably should have been taught in school, but wasn't.
Right.
And that's what we teach in our workshop.
Yeah.
So
100%.
Instead of making you wait until the very end of the webinar, we're actually going to give you our number one tip now. And the number one tip, let me give you a little bit of background before I jump into the tip. Studies have shown, Natascha and I are big brain science nerds. We love, love, love brain science. Anything that helps us understand who we are as people and as humans, that's helpful, right? So brain science has shown that humans are more optimistic about our future self than we are about who we are today. And actually, this study had to do with retirement savings. And what they found was that people who auto-selected automatically start saving my raise. The minute I get a raise, I don't even want to see it on my paycheck. It just goes to my savings. People say like, sure, I don't need that money, right? Because they're more optimistic about their future self. But if you get that raise and then say, hey, do you want to put that raise into savings? They're like, no, I need that money, right? So we are more optimistic about what our future self can do than what our present day self can do. So what is our number one tip? Plan tomorrow today. So what I mean is on Sunday afternoon or evening, plan your week. Figure out what you're going to work on. And then when Monday comes, when the craziness of Monday come, you already have it in your schedule. And all you have to do is execute. Because when you're in the middle of like, it's Monday,
right,
you're not going to say like, oh, I can do this and this and this and this and this. No. And that's what we teach in our workshop. We teach you to plan tomorrow today. This is one of the things we teach you, right? We teach you on Sunday to plan your week, and then the last Sunday of the month to plan your month, your next month, because again, that future self, you're more optimistic about that person. And that's the place you want to be in, that nice, calm, optimistic, I can do anything mindset when you make your plans.
Yeah, Monday morning's too late to plan for the week. You're already hit the ground running. Things are already crazy. And we also encourage people to kind of take a look at their day like before they go to bed at night, just kind of take a look at the next day, see what's up for the next day, that kind of thing. Just take a good look at it. Takes a couple minutes, right? But it's one of the habits that we encourage you to get into, and we help give you tips on how to create those kinds of habits in the course as well. We really like to think of ourselves as well. Maybe you've seen on social media some ads for this weight loss app that really encourages and says, like, we use psychology and brain science to help you change you. Let's just call it Schmoom. So Schmoom. So we like to think of ourselves really as the Schmoom of planning. We go ahead and we give you helpful hints, tips, tricks, actionable homework that will then create habits that bring you and get you to results, right? So same idea as she mentioned earlier, that we're brain science nerds. Totally, 100%, right? Because anything we can use for insight into ourselves that help us, go ahead and be more effective in our life, AKA read that as more time for yourself, the better. And one of the brain science things that I absolutely geeked out on when Allegra and I were first chatting about what didn't work for that planner, was she's like, well, the studies show that if you take 1 minute of planning, that equals 10 minutes later of life that you get back, because you're not putting out fires because you just went headfirst into something without planning ahead of time, which was absolutely my MO. And we'll talk a little bit more about later about like working with your tendencies as instead of against them. And so that got me hooked. I was like, okay, I can do this. I can shift from just kind of like haphazardly throwing things together and having an ongoing to-do list and putting myself on the back burner all the time and just constantly feeling like I'm in a state of, putting out fires, to, I'm going to take the time of starting to make that habit, to plan ahead, even when it's not an event, right? And save myself that time later, and save myself that anxiety and upset and all that later. And it has made all the difference.
And don't underestimate the difference you will feel when you start your day with, I have a plan, versus, what am I going to do?
Mm-hmm.
Right? One is proactive and the other one is reactive. And the way that makes you feel is 100% night and day.
Mm-hmm.
When you're proactive, you feel like you have some sort of agency over your day. And look, plans don't always go perfectly, right? We talk about course correction a lot in our workshop.
Mm-hmm.
However, you have a plan, right? And that makes a huge difference.
And the other thing that I do want to illustrate here too is and why you are the planner, is that your to-do list is not a plan. Your appointments in a book are not a plan, right? Those are just, like we've said, we might have heard us say this before. If you're not planning, it's just a calendar. Yeah, exactly. So we're not talking about like, be more efficient in putting down your, my dentist appointment on Tuesday at 2. It's not that, of course, gets in there and it is important to be in there, but we're talking about making that plan, like taking that container and putting the big important rocks in first before you put in the gravel of the dentist appointments and the water of the other things that you, right, and fill up that container with putting the big rocks in first. And that's what the plan's about.
And we don't judge what kind of goals you're working on, right? Like,
no,
maybe you just want to be better at doing those things that you have lying around the house.
Mm-hmm.
Or maybe you want to write a book, or maybe you want to get into better shape. No matter what your goal is, our workshop can help with any of those.
That's right.
So Natascha's going to talk a little bit about our workshop.
So our workshop, as Allegra mentioned, we like to do things on Sundays. So there are 6-hour-long sessions, 6 weeks on Sundays, because we want to help get you in that habit of sitting down and planning your week. And we let the video for that particular session run, or it's available to you all week long till the next session. So you can come back in, review, or if you can't make the session on Sunday, you can always pop in and watch it on your own time. So that's available to you. That's an hour-long contained session. And during that time, you're going to be part of our Facebook group, our private course group. This is a great way to connect with other dreamers, a great way for you to ask questions. We answer them, places to be inspired, links to stuff we mentioned in the sessions. Also, helps you, it makes you, we also put up links to articles and other types of things. And then after you've graduated, you become part of our alumni group, which is the same idea, same community, helping each other, uplift each other. Even people we love, I mean, people share their goals on there. I mean, it's just really, it's such a great community, and it's really it's a lot of fun, and it's a lot more fun to plan and be inspired by others than, like, in our own little cubicle world here. Also, after each session, we have a live Q&A with Allegra and I, and you can ask any questions about the course, and if you're having questions about what's coming up or having trouble with any of the things that we go over, that Q&A is available to you. Plus, we do a few also 10-minute bonus sessions for parents, caregivers, anybody who has claim on your time. We do some bonus sessions that help with some time management or managing other people and managing multiple schedules and that kind of thing. We recommend you do the course in that 6-week time, because that 6 weeks, we don't recommend you do it faster. We could take this information and cram it into like a 1-day session or a weekend session, but we really want to have you do it over 6 weeks, A, to develop those habits, and B, to let certain things gestate. Because it's not just about like, going ahead and planning your entire life or year or life goals in 1 day. It's really unrealistic expectation. Also, that gestation period is super important. And yeah, that's pretty much the course in a nutshell.
Yeah, because our goal, leadership expert John Maxwell says that to change your life, you need to change something that you're doing daily. And so our goal is to help you establish a habit of planning by going through this workshop, which is why instead of doing a 1-day intensive, we do 1 hour over a long period of time. That's called spaced repetitious learning. And that's
Mm-hmm.
what allows you to create those deeper, brain connections, again, brain science, those deeper brain connections, because, your brain says, oh, that person's going back and doing that thing again. That must be important. So I'm going to strengthen those connections. And that
Mm-hmm.
way, when you come out of our workshop, you actually have made a significant change in how you approach things, rather than if you took a 1-day workshop and then, your brain, it's like when you
Try
cram
to
for a
apply it.
test, right? Like I memorized all the capitals of the United states for a test. And I do not remember any of those capitals because I crammed it in. It went into my short-term memory and then it went out of my short-term memory, right?
Bye.
But
And have you ever like gone ahead and gotten a gym membership and then just been like, I'm going to work out every day? Like, how long does that last? Right. As opposed to like maybe making a more reasonable plan where you're like, you know what? Maybe I start out with once a week or 2 times a week or that kind of thing. And so that kind of tip and habit making is what you're going to, we establish in the course.
yeah, because remember, it's about the creation and maintenance of a plan. Now, right now, we are talking about our live course, our live virtual course that is starting in October 3rd, 2021, and running for 6 weeks, skipping Halloween. That's the course that we're talking about right now. If those dates don't work for you, like Natascha mentioned, the videos are up all week long. So you do have time. You don't have to be there on the date that we do the first live video. However, if these weeks don't work for you at all, for whatever reason, we do want to let you know that we are going to have a workbook coming out soon, a paperback workbook. And, if you're the sort of person who is really good at figuring things out on your own and likes working from a workbook, then our workbook is coming out and it will be available for pre-order now. So you can order it now for late November.
Mm-hmm.
And depending on if you are watching this video, on our website, you might have these links available to you right now. But if not, if you're watching this, on YouTube or on Facebook or something, then the place that you want to go in order to pre-order this book and get the coupons and gifts that we're going to talk about a little bit later, you
Or
want to
join the
go
course.
to, or join the course, join the live
Yeah.
course,
Yeah. Yeah.
is smarturl.it/getplanning.
Mm-hmm.
And the workbook you will get inclusion in the private Facebook group. However, what you will not get is the private alumni group that you can join for an additional fee.
What's great about the workbook, and we super encourage you, like late November, that is plenty of time for you to set yourself up for 2022, right? We're all about like giving yourself ample time, like, not to say that you couldn't open this up and do it on January 1st. Of course you could, right? But it's a great time to get it because it really is how you're really thinking about setting up your 2022 and really kind of like doing a deep dive into life goals and how we're going to, and then daily tasks and how you're going to achieve all that stuff.
Right. Plan tomorrow, today. This is the ultimate
Mhm.
plan tomorrow, today opportunity.
Mhm.
And it's also a great gift. So if you need a gift for that person who has everything, get them a workbook. Now, at this point, you might be asking,
Is it gonna work for me? Right? This is definitely me. This is so Allegra was alluding to. She's like, oh, I recommended this planner to a bunch of friends. And I was that friend who was like, oh, super cool. All right, great. I'm gonna start the workbook. Okay, I mean the planner. Okay, great. And then lo and behold, I started early March 2020. So we can all understand how that went. But prior to everything shutting down and knowing what our life was going to be like, this was before, like right before we knew what our life was going to be like. Well, we didn't know, but I sat down and I really did a crunch. Like I really like filled out all the parts of this thing of the planner that we were asked to do and all this kind of stuff. And it was, I think one of my mistakes was I tried to do it all in one day. That's number one. But also there are just things about it that were just they didn't the components that were missing pieces. Allegra was helping me like kind of sift through. Maybe like I don't know, like maybe 9 months later, she's like, "Did that planner ever work for you?" I was like, "No, girl, it was not working." And we talked about it. We parsed it out, and lo and behold, this course is a result of that the beginning of that conversation. But the thing about it with this book is the brain science aspect that we really started to apply. It really does work for everyone. It's personalized to you. We always like to say we give you a framework and you work that framework that way it works for you, right? We give you like options and different ways of discovering it and really finding a way that it works for you. It's customizable in that way too. We really do try to make it fun because like if it's not fun, why do it? And who's going to do it? And it's
plus we're
also
just
simple.
fun people.
Yeah, super fun. You should totally hang out with us. Yeah, and the thing about this too is that we really encourage you to learn things about yourself, looking at yourself from different facets to understand a little bit about why you operate the way you do, and what your tendencies are. And my what I discovered, I had used this tendency to beat myself up for forever. Was I had this tendency, like if there was no external deadline, like if I wasn't like having a party or some things would just not get done around my house. Now I love crafting, I love DIY, I love doing things myself, and I have had a list and continue to have a list of long list of all the things that I want to do around my house, right? And just those things just never seem to get done until we had house guests or until we were going to have a party and that kind of thing. And then I used to beat myself up. I'm like, oh, I'm so not self motivated. Or, oh, I'm like, if I was just somebody who really like, could want to, I found all these reasons to get upset with myself about it. But taking that idea, that tendency and reframing it as like, oh, okay, so you need external deadlines. So create some external deadlines, like create them, make them up, or make them real in a way, but make those external deadlines for yourself. Because if it's internal, that's just not how I operate. I know some people do. So taking that and shifting it from like a reason to beat myself up into like, oh, I know this about myself. Let's use that.
Absolutely. And I know I have what's called a rebel tendency, which is that rebels don't like to be told what to do, even by themselves, which I would feel myself sometimes when I'd be working on a goal of mine, I would feel myself getting annoyed that, ugh, I hate that I have to do this thing. And then I thought about it. And when I realized I have this rebel tendency, I was like, wait a second. I'm the one making myself do this. Like, why am I getting annoyed at myself? That makes no sense, right? But now that I know this thing about myself, that little voice has gotten a lot quieter. It's kind of like with meditating, where you can actually shrink your fear reaction because meditating shrinks the amygdala, that part of your brain that is fight or flight. I'm actually shrinking that tendency of mine. Like my rebel tendency doesn't show up as much anymore because now I know, like, oh, that's that. Yeah, it, so you can quiet it,
Thank you
right?
for sharing. Thank you for sharing.
Yeah,
Thank you for sharing.
I we noted. Now go away.
Hmm.
Yeah. So it's we teach you to do this, make it work for you. It's customizable. And as one of our students said, Allegra and Natascha have taken a concept that has eluded me my whole life and broken it down into really simple, doable steps that just make sense. I would definitely recommend. And, one of the reasons why I asked Natascha to do this with me, embark on this adventure of creating this course with me, is not only is she awesome and fun to be with, which you absolutely want
Oh,
in a business partner, but also between the two of us, we have decades and decades of educational experience. We're both educators in our personal businesses. And so we are good at sort of figuring things out and helping people tweak things and give you that gift of being able to filter challenging information into simple, doable steps. That's
Yeah,
what we are good at.
right. As educators, and I've been doing it for over 15 years, it's really important to have your concepts and understand that people understand it and utilize it in different ways. And so you have your whatever the subject is, this person gets it from this angle, this person gets it from this angle. And so that's one of the things that we do with this. We take these concepts and we show them to you in different ways, different angles, so that it really is customizable and anybody can do it. So let's talk about what we just talked about. Well, we talked about when we created the workshop, talked about, oh no, but planners don't work for me. We're not talking about the planner.
We're talking
You're the
about you.
planner. We're talking about you. And by the way, you can use a notebook with this. Like, you can use a bullet journal. You can get your favorite planner if you want to, but really we're talking about something being really ultimately customizable. We talked about our number one planning tip. You feel really good about your future self, so use that to your advantage and plan today for tomorrow, or plan tomorrow today, however you say that. We talked about our course and our new upcoming workbook, which you can pre-order. And now let's chat a little bit about our thank you gifts.
So before we get to thank you gifts, I just want to leave you with one final thought. I love what this writer, Emily McDowell, wrote about finding yourself. Finding yourself is not really how it works. You aren't a $10 bill in last winter's coat pocket. You are also not lost. Your true self is right there, buried under cultural conditioning, other people's opinions, and inaccurate conclusions you drew as a kid that became your beliefs about who you are. Finding yourself is actually returning to yourself, an unlearning, an excavation, a remembering who you were before the world got its hands on you. So what I want to say is that if you are ready to excavate, we will hold the flashlight and the pickaxe for you. Okay. I'm not overselling when I tell you that this is a life-changing course. It really is. And I know, because planning has changed my life and I've seen it changing Natascha's life, and we've gotten the feedback from our students.
Yeah. So if you don't have a clear goal, that's fine. That's okay. That's what this is about. Or you're kind of dusting off old goals and these don't fit for you anymore, especially with just, been on lockdown for forever. Maybe your priorities have shifted. I know mine have completely, so what do they look like? What are these new priorities? What new goals emerge now out of that? Part of this course is about going ahead and excavating that, creating potentially new goals, or dusting off old ones and going like, hey, let's get back to that one. So it's again not about checking off a to-do list. It's not about going after the things it's about going after the things in your life that spark your joy and living a life beyond your wildest dreams. We're here to help you find those things, and not only find them, but go for them, get them.
And read what Julie D wrote. When you follow the process and do the homework, it's nothing short of life-changing. I've been empowered with invaluable tools and will absolutely take it again. She's taking the course again. She found
Thanks,
it
Julie.
so useful. So to our thank you gifts, as I mentioned, depending on where you are, you might already see these thank you gift codes already up. But if not, go to smarturl.it/getplanning and we will give you a 50% off discount coupon code. So the live virtual class that is happening starting October 3rd, 2021, that class is priced at $149 full price. And we are giving you a 50% off discount by using this coupon code that you will find on this page here, or if you go to the URL and sign up, you will get the coupon code. So that comes out to, what is it? $75?
$75. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So 6 classes, that comes out to $12 a class or something like that.
Yeah, basically.
Life-changing. We're telling you, life-changing. Okay. However, this is the only time this class is going to be this inexpensive. And the very specific reason why is because we are recording the class for our personal use at a later date. You won't be on camera or anything. If we use a comment of yours, like, it might show up the question itself, but we are using these videos for ourselves at a later date, which is why it's so inexpensive. Literally, the future live classes will be like 4 times this amount. So jump on this opportunity to take advantage of our soft launch class and our soft launch discount. And this discount will only be good for 2 weeks. So September 10th, this discount will expire and it will be the $149 price. So if you are seeing this before September 10th, take advantage of this 50% off discount. After September 10th, there will be a discount, but it'll be about 30%. And again, it'll be on that same page, that Get Planning Smart URL, or it's on this page that you're looking at right now. And there will be so it'll be $99. Okay. So sign up between now and September 10th and you get it at $75. Sign up between September 10th and the day it launches and you have the discount code, then you'll get it for $99. Otherwise, it's $149. The other thing that we are gifting you are these great personality quizzes. As you heard me mention, I have this rebel tendency. I'm an ENFJ. Natascha is
An obliger. Yeah,
and
right.
we want you to learn these things about yourself because they will help you literally the moment that you read them, you will suddenly understand, oh, that's why I do X, Y, Z.
Mm-hmm.
And we have a link to an article that explains, based on your personality type, this is how you may struggle or you may approach planning in general. And so this is just our gift to you because this is just useful information and it'll be useful information to you going into the course as well.
Yep. Knowing this might make all the difference for you and also helps you unpack and unravel bad habits and make new ones, make good ones. We don't really like to bad or shame habits, but
Just
help you make new
tendencies.
habits. Right. Tendencies. Thank you. So we really want to make sure you take advantage of this gift, take advantage of the 50% off discount. We're really big into rewards with our program as well. They're important and we love giving them and getting them. And so take advantage of these thank you gifts for sure.
And you're going to learn a lot more in the course, but there's one last thought that we want to leave you with, which is this. If you aren't planning, it's just
a calendar.
Hope to see you in October.
Take care. We'll see you in October.